Yo, it's Pimp B, Cash Guy, man, back at y'all with another one. Yes, sir, nigga, your boy is back. Shout out to the whole LA section, man. Shout out to the whole West Side, whole California, Bay Area, down south, all the way to the damn Dago area. Like, shout outs to the West Side. This is my second episode, and today's today's subject is none other than Westchester's own Trevor Ariza. I want to give a shout out to Trevor Ariza and his entire staff and his whole group as a collective. He's always been a stand up guy. From my point of view, simply because of the longevity of his NBA career. Um, I look at people's character. I look at the decisions that they make during their professional career while they're in the spotlight. I want to commend Trevor Ariza just for being a role model to Los Angeles County athletes for the future. If they don't know, they need to look up Trevor Ariza from Westchester High School. Now, I went to Fairfax High School, and our biggest rivals in like every year, the only game that really counted was the game against Westchester, and in regards to basketball, because Fairfax always had like an elite club, and then Westchester always had like some type of. If they weren't elite nationally, they had some hood niggas that was just extra good. Like they got them niggas straight out the '60s or something. Like let's just go down the street and get a nigga selling some dope and put him in the game, and the niggas, well, he's a beast. So that's what Westchester. Westchester, I always give them credit because they had a more of a definite hood influence program. Like my program at Fairfax. Now, mind you, it's a school in Hollywood, literally located on Melrose. Like you would think Melrose Place, the first thing you think about when I say our school's on Melrose. But the programs that we ran athletically were all based on recruited inner city kids or just hood kids who, ventured and found themselves at the high school or something because they knew somebody or something. And it was just a cool high school to go to that was outside of the hood and it was close to Hollywood. So, I mean, for me, I went there. It was a travel because I stayed on like Crenshaw. I stayed in the Wilshire district, kind of like in the, Koreatown section of Wilshire. And, it's not close to Hollywood. Like, if you know anything about the Los Angeles city, you're going to have to hop on a Wilshire bus, get on that 210. Then you got to get on that Melrose bus. I don't even know what that is. Or you got to go to Fairfax, and you got to get in Fairfax and down there in Beverly Hills. So, nigga had to go to travel outside of his section originally where I would, my four corners to go to school, but I went to school in Hollywood. And Fairfax High School's biggest rival was Westchester in basketball, and Trevor Ariza played for them. And now, I don't like to talk about people's personal lives, but Trevor Ariza going to Westchester, he had ties to people that lived in the neighboring section, which is a section that's known as the Rolling 60 area. And I don't know if he lived there or something, but I knew people who lived. My mom actually lived over there, and one of my neighbors was good friends with Trevor Ariza and his family, like to the point where they were always in the neighborhood helping and being, Trevor Ariza was just a known figure in the LA city area as far as a giving back type of guy. Like he always stayed humble and knew where he came from. But I didn't know him personally. But I definitely watched him in high school because he played against my school. And then I also watched him graduate to the next level in NCAA at UCLA. He went and played 1 year at UCLA. Now, he didn't have the best year, but he definitely play good enough to go to the NBA after 1 year, and his main attributes were like defense and hustling. It wasn't he wasn't just a super athlete or a super scorer. He did the dirty work. He was a dirty work guy. So now I can't tell you where Trevor Ariza got drafted to, but during his career, it been, I don't know, about 17, 18 years of this nigga having a career. He played for the Lakers. So that was probably real big coming, being a kid who came or played in the LA section in high school, and now you playing for the Lakers. If you from LA, I don't give a fuck who you is. You a Laker fan at heart, nigga. You probably fuck with the Clippers, but everybody know that where I'm from, nigga, the Lakers is they the real basketball team. The Clippers like the JV. We don't even watch them because we ain't got time to watch. Nigga, it's either the Lakers or the nothing. And these Clippers today, they just lost to the fucking Suns. And Chris Paul will drop a whole 40-piece spicy McNugget with the BTS sides, and fucking this nigga about 50 years old. And CP3, I said, look, if you check my Facebook, I said on January 1st this year, like for no reason at all, I just shouted out CP3 and said he ain't no super best point guard or number one or he possibly was a Hall of Famer because he's good, but he didn't win that ring. Like it's like the Charles Barkley effect. Like he would have been good, but he wouldn't have been getting that same praise as the guys with at least one ring. You know what I'm saying? So he's great, but I used to say he gonna make it to the Hall of Fame. And he should make it to the Hall of Fame, and he should have his own section called a Certified Hall of Fame Hooper. Now, he's not no champion, but he definitely played at that elite level for so long, it was unrecognizable that Chris Paul is good, and he's better than good. The Lakers should have got him, and then he's so good, they made like a super violated move and stopped the trade to get Chris Paul about 10 years ago. And that's crazy. Where they ever do that at? When does the NBA ever say, oh, I'm not going to let a motherfucker get traded to another team? They don't get involved in that type of shit, but they did in that case, first time they ever did it. But I said CP3 was going to be he was a certified hooper, Hall of Fame hooper. But that's for another story. That's another story. Back to Trevor Ariza. He played for the Lakers during his NBA career, and he won some championships, maybe two, maybe one. But the idea that you came from LA, you balled in LA, you went to UCLA, then you won an NBA championship in LA, that definitely certifies and gives you certification for being one of Los Angeles County's greatest athletes to ever play any sport. It don't matter if it's football, basketball. I do all. You gonna check me? I'm gonna hit some baseball players from LA or some hockey players. I'm tapping into all genres of sports. But I wanted to make my second episode dedicated to the honorable Trevor Ariza, who played for Westchester, played for UCLA, won some championships with the Lakers, played a lot of games with a lot of other squads, which really don't count because you know what it really is when you're from LA. So shout out to Trevor Ariza and the whole Trevor Ariza camp, man. It's Pimp B, Cash Guy with another one, man. And I'm going to try to throw some videos at the end of this so y'all can get some ideas on what made Trevor Ariza such a big factor in the LA County. So holla at your boy. One.